Hey TV movie fans, this is Alex from Total TV and Film, and today we're going to be discussing a few major cultural developments happening with major media icons in books and TV and other media that I figured I'd discuss. These have been happening over the past few weeks, and they've gotten a little bit of attention on social media. One of them just happened actually today, and I figured I'd discuss. One of them I actually did in another video that I'm going to be posting prior to this one, so I figured might as well, include that as well. So first one is Mr. Potato Head. For those that are unaware, Mr. Potato Head is now being changed to just Potato Head. Why? Well, the reason for that comes down to the fact that they're trying to minimize the idea of the Potato Head concept being limited to a male character. People typically always think Mr. Potato Head, not Mrs. Potato Head. But again, the idea is to not limit it to a specific gender, so they want to make it a neutral, meaning that likely they will have accessories of both a male and a female because that makes more sense. And honestly, I'm totally in support of that. So they're changing the name to just Potato Head. Interesting choice, not particularly one that needs a lot to say, but was something that was talked about a bunch when it first happened. The next one that got a lot of attention as of late was the Muppet Show. For those that are unaware, the Muppet Show recently released on Disney Plus on, I believe, January 29th, if I'm not mistaken. And the thing is that at the time, a lot of people were really happy to see the show on Disney Plus. But the big controversy came from the fact that there were these messages having to do with talking about potential racial depictions and other media, and how this is a learning material for people to understand what used to be acceptable and is not acceptable anymore. Totally understand it. Some people really felt that that was unnecessary for them to do that because it's obvious that those are a fact, but at the same time, I also understand from the other side of things where they're trying to inform the audience up front that this is an issue. They've done the same thing with a number of other media. One of the best examples I can think of right away is the Looney Tunes for HBO Max, where they do something very similar, but they do it where it's less intrusive because it's not always at the beginning of episodes, and not every episode of The Muppet Show has that message, but some definitely do. One of the worst examples of an episode from The Muppet Show that definitely has a need to be mentioned for that is probably the Spike Milligan episode, because that one has a lot of racially inappropriate lines from Spike Milligan, and also there's a lot of racially inappropriate depictions of Chinese people and other kinds of people that just in general are not really appropriate. Believe me, definitely the case. So I totally understand where people are coming from in the sense that they don't want to see it, but at the same time I also understand that, again, it's a learning material. The classic Looney Tunes shorts on HBO Max do the same thing basically, because again, there are racially insensitive content there. Most of the content that Looney Tunes has on there right now is less of the more racially insensitive stuff and more of the more politically correct stuff, but there is some overlap. So that's something to note. Now, as far as other things go, there is also Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss, there was an incident with Dr. Seuss with 6 books having to do with racial images, things depicting Chinese people, and other inappropriate imagery that today is considered politically incorrect. They are trying to make those books stop being published, so they are out of print. So if anyone has those 6 books, hold on to them because they will be worth something soon if they are already worth something. Believe me. But yes, so there are some really inappropriate imagery in them, and if you have those books, which I will probably show all 6 of them at some point right now possibly, what they look like, so okay, these 6 books, hold on to them if you have them. Just something to keep in mind. The next bit of news came the other day, 2 days ago actually, which was the for those that are unaware, speaking of Looney Tunes, they're making a sequel to the movie Space Jam, the 1996 film that featured basketball players and Looney Tunes characters teaming up to play in a basketball game. And the idea of this, and the thing was with the sequel, there was one character that got a lot of talk recently, and that has to do with Lola Bunny, the female rabbit character that was supposed to be a female counterpart to Bugs Bunny. Initially, when she was introduced in that movie, she was depicted in a very sexualized way with, raised chest and curves in, various places. And the point was that she was very sexualized. They're trying they made a new design for this movie where she has a more athletic look. That's how they describe it, which honestly looks really good. I actually like the design, and even if people weren't mentioning this whole entire point of the sexualized look of the original design, I don't think it's a bad look. I think it's actually a very good look what they're going for. It's more appropriate, not just on like a not just on like a PC level, but just in general, like it actually looks good. So like I understand both sides, but at the same time, I don't think what they're doing is bad. Because that's one thing I honestly have to say is that I understand, but I don't understand. Like this is not a bad design. It's a good design what they have. The last thing I wanted to discuss is something that just got announced today, and that was that they are trying to basically remove Pepe Le Pew and Speedy Gonzales from any kind of media having to do with the Looney Tunes. For those that are unaware, Pepe Le Pew is the popular Skunk character in the Looney Tunes that is typically seen chasing a female cat character that often ends up getting in something that makes her look like she is a skunk, and in reality she's supposed to be a cat. But the thing is that this often leads to the skunk, Pepe Le Pew, trying to hit on her, and she wants nothing to do with it. And so there's this depiction of rape culture. Yes, I'm getting real here, rape culture, which is totally logical, makes plenty of sense. It's an older character though, but a lot of people are thinking they need to stop this character. Now, does that mean that the character will not show up in any future media? I can't really say, but from what it sounds like, they're trying to possibly do something to kind of stop the character from showing up. The other one that really hasn't been showing up much to begin with and is being mentioned again is Speedy Gonzales. Speedy Gonzales was a popular character who was a mouse that was Mexican, and the idea was that there's the racial aspects of how the character is supposed to be fast, representing Mexican people trying to cross the border and having to be quick to cross it. Again, not appropriate for logical reasons, and he hasn't really shown up in many Looney Tunes content in recent years, but it's something to note. So if anyone is curious about that, I can probably send some information, but these are just a few of the cultural changes that are happening in major media formats that some people might be interested in. If you want to know more, you can always look online, or if you want an article, I can always send you some stuff. But I'd love to know your guys' opinions on this. Which ones of these do you find the most controversial? Which changes do you think are the best changes? Which things do you think are just bad ideas? I'd love to hear your opinions and more. And I'd love to hear, and just in general, what are your thoughts? So please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Again, this is Alex from Total TV and Film, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, guys, I'm Alex, and goodbye.